Welcome back, YouTubers. A review of Robot Damashii's 240th Gundam figure, the Gyan. Again, from the anime series, which refers to its movement system, which this figure is one that really needs it. You see, as you look at the package here, especially on the back, you'll see that there's a lot of dynamic posing for the arm. Especially because this suit was designed more to be a fencer than anything else. It has a shield and sword, of course, and that's very knightly, if you... Well, it's one of the reasons I've always felt this suit was really cool, and I liked it a lot. It was piloted by Makuve, a general from Earth that we see earlier in the series, and he's very foppish, if you will. He seems obsessed with an extremely valuable vase he has, and is Caecilia's right-hand man on Earth. Caecilia being one of the main zombies. You can also see on the side view, it's got a ton of extra parts. So, without further ado, let's take a look. Whoa. That's a lot of extra bits I did not see coming. As you can see here, it's got a lot of effect parts, unlike some of the other mobile suits, but it also exchanges that for the fact that it doesn't have as many bits to go with it. Now, the Gyan is a fencer, but I've seen bits where it is equipped with a beam rifle, like in Build Fighters. And that does make sense, since in Gundam Build Fighters it's all about customizing. But the weapon it was equipped with was the Gelgug's beam rifle, so it makes a lot of sense for it to be that one, since this was the competitor to the Gelgug. Both companies that produced the mobile suits for Zeon during the war in the fiction produced mobile suits. The Dom was from one company, same one who did this, so you'll see some similarities to the Dom, but the Gelgug was made by the people who made the Zaku, hence the resemblance to that mobile suit. Now here we have the mobile suit in question. As you can see, it's pretty standard. Big shoulders, has a nice effect there, and it has the receding panels effect that I've noticed in a lot of the anime series mobile suits. Same as on the legs, these panels will recede into it, which is very nice engineering, I have to say. And I also like these little details, like the back of the knees, these joints here, they look really good. And I also like that the feet will like bend like this, so you can get them, you know, leaning against debris or terrain, should you have that kind of stuff, which I like to work on and do. I haven't got anything at all at the moment that I could use, but it's nice to have. Now, one thing I will show you before we keep going is its predecessor. This is the Gyan from the Mobile Suit in Action series, which got ported to the US by Bandai back in the mid-2000s. Early 2000s, either one. But this is what we had, and as you can see, it's a lot smaller. As with many of the other ones I've shown, this was one that I liked a lot. But you can see there are some slight scaling differences, as well as there is a difference in the size of the weaponry that the mobile suits are equipped with. For example, I'm not so sure on it, but I'm fairly sure, just from looking at this, that the shield here is more to scale than the one here. Also, as you can see, this one has no symbol, and it has a line that goes across here on this one. This one is smooth all the way around. That's something that I always found odd. The back of the shield is similar, but also, again, somewhat different. This one is receded. This one has a big domed interior. and a recess behind it. So they're fairly different. The beam saber as well. This one on the Mobile Suit in Action Series one is a lot thicker than the one that the Gyan has here. It's also a lot less posable than the Gyan I've got. The only thing I can say of note is the backpack on this one is pretty stuck on there. It doesn't move as much. The one on this one is mobile and can be moved around a bunch. It's on a pivot joint. There's no rack on the back here, and as you can see, it's a lot less detailed than the other one. But technology changes over time. So you're going to variably see that. Plus, this one has a much darker blue than the new model, so there's that too. And I'm not sure about these red lines. I'm fairly sure those were just something added on the toy after the fact. Either way, it's a strict upgrade over that. Now, let's take a look. Now, one thing I see from the instructions here is there's a little door on the back of the skirt. You can put in a plug for weapon storage. There's a piece here for that. There's also a ton, and I do mean a ton, of these effect parts which go on the shield, if I'm not mistaken. They clip on the back like so, and they pop in here. That's because all these little raised ridges here are missiles. So while the Gyan does not have a beam rifle, it does have ranged explosives for medium range battling, which is an interesting concept. A lot of the weapons are beam based at this time, but the Federation shows that they have a counter beam system in the form of the eye field. So having mobile suits that can wield both beam weapons as well as kinetic explosive missiles like this is not a bad idea. And you can get an effect kind of like this. Which is pretty cool. There's an extra little spike for the Gyan's head. There are 2 extra visors for the Gyan. You just pop off the top of his head. This one's on there. Ah, there we go. You can just pop off the top of the head, pull out that black one, and insert a replacement. But it's got 2 different ones for the mono eye. One looking left and one looking right. So that's a nice addition too. This makes sense because unlike the other ones, it's not something that they can just put on a track that just moves while inside the headpiece. So I do understand that. It would be nice if they could, but it's not realistic with this particular mobile suit's design, especially because, as you can see, the track goes all the way around the head. So just would not be possible. Now, another thing this one comes with is some damage effects. These ones from the instructions clip here into the back of the thruster pack. This is to show Makuve's death scene. During his fight with Amuro Ray, he was slashed across the chest area, and his mobile suit exploded, of course. So, slide these 2 into the back here and here, turn it in, and bam! You've got a mobile suit that's been bisected in battle. Which is a very nice effect, I must say. Another effect part which is included is something I wouldn't have expected them to include. It's an explosion effect for the Gundam. And it's molded specifically for an RX-79 Gundam. So let me just grab him right quick, show this one off. Now, with this, it just clips onto the shoulder like so. No special attachments, it just slides over the the plate on the shoulder. That's because these little balls you see, these are mines that M'Quve launches out of the Gyan's shield to fight the Gundam with more guerrilla tactics, if anything. I do think it's an interesting way to fight. M'Quve seems to be very much a fighter who fights with any method he feels is justifiable, i.e. whether it is normal warfare with, guns, or with dueling, or with mines, as long as he controls the advantage. Which might mean M'Quve was ahead of his time in his thinking, because since the Gyan lacks range weapons, might have been him seeing that the Federation would develop some method of defeating their long-range advantage, and thus trying to switch to a more close-range fighting style to accommodate it. Now, another thing I just noticed was here, with the Gyan's hand, take a look here. There's an extra pivot joint here and here on the wrist. So you can get a lot more articulation with the blade. As I said, this is more of a fencing suit, so you can get much more dynamic fencing motions and such. So this looks like a figure that was really designed for posability and for setting up little scenes. I like this a lot. It comes with 6 additional hands, so a total of 8. And I just feel that this mobile suit is one of the cooler ones. If you're a fan of Mobile Suit Gundam, I definitely think this is one you should pick up, but if you do not like the Gyan, I understand. It's not something everybody likes. In fact, I have a couple of friends who really hate the Gyan. Though in Gundam Build Fighters, the first series, as well as even the second series, there are several variants of the Gyan one character uses, and in the second season, his younger sister also utilizes Gyan-based mobile suits, though they are from the Axis mobile suits during Gundam Double Zeta, or Zeta 2, whichever you prefer to call it. And they even show that there is a third sibling, another brother, so there's a whole bunch of them. At any rate, this is the Gyan. And if you are interested, I definitely recommend picking it up. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for this one. It's not too complicated. I have a model kit or two of this suit. There have been several different variants of the Gyan, and I'm working on painting those right now. If anyone wants to see some of my painted mobile suits, I'd be more than happy to put those up on review too. But either way, please like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, and I'll see you next time, and you can follow me on Twitter if you want to just chat. See you around. Ciao. Just a quick addendum. Something I forgot to mention was, like the Gelgug, the Gyan came with an additional effect part. This is a number 2 design, which means it's this one here, of an explosion. This one says brown version, and as you can see, it is a dark brown-gray explosion. This is a nice addition, and I hope to see more of this in the future. I do like the fact that for pre-orders and purchases of this, they're giving away additional effects and such for this series. So, if you were lucky enough to pre-order this, or if you know a place that is still giving these away, or want to check first, that might be an additional incentive for you to purchase one of these. Anyway, I'll see you later. Ciao.